Good afternoon. Welcome to our Thursday Live. Today we are going to share various techniques and also uses for our clear glaze. I hope you all are absolutely fabulous and that you so far enjoyed a very successful and creative week. I'm going to start to apply the clear glaze on larger surfaces to show the steps, to show how you can fix things and also to clear the air. It's easy to fix things with Tjhoko. There was a question earlier today on the Tjhoko Creations page. If I have damage on a Tjhoko surface that has been glazed, what do I do? Do I sand everything off? Do I clean everything again? How do I fix it? And the way of fixing it is as simple as this. You simply take a clean cloth, dip it in some lacquer thinners, clean that area where the damage is well, allow the thinners to dry and to evaporate, and then just do a touch-up on that area. Wait for the paint to dry 40 minutes, do your second coat, wait overnight rather, and then just do the clear glaze touch-up. So no worries if something goes wrong. There are easy ways of fixing and correcting anything, and that's why we're there, to assist and to help as you are creative. Today I'm going to start with a clear glaze on a larger surface and also explain what do you do if you are glazing darker surfaces and how to apply the glaze. I have plenty old plastic bowls here and we are going to mix and play together as we progress during this live video. So first of all, the glaze application is as follows. If I want, for instance, I have two pieces here, one that we've done 2 weeks back with the blending stencil technique, and I have one that we did last week with the embellishment and the wash technique. I'm going to apply the glaze on these surfaces so that you can see the application and also see if there are streakiness, why it occurs, and how I fix it. Okay, let's first start by mixing the glaze. So I have measuring cups here. It's the easiest way. Even if you don't have measuring cups, anything that you can pour the glaze into, because it's 3 parts glaze. Let's do it together. So 3 parts glaze. 1, 2, 3. And then 1 part cooled boiling water. The reason I'm using cooled boiling water is so that whatever I don't use, I can pour back into my container. Normal tap water will contaminate the content. Okay. Before we do the application, what is glaze and where do I apply it? So the clear glaze is a pure acrylic sealant. So it's pure. If I need to explain it in layman's terms, your best roof paints have an acrylic component of 30 to 40%, where this is 100% acrylic component. So it's a concentrated product. The glaze makes your surface water and UV resistant and also more stain resistant. I have not sealed this Tjhoko surface whatsoever. The paint doesn't rub off, but the purpose for this is to use it in a kitchen. In kitchen, you have fatty fingers, you have steam, you have water, and you want to add extra protection. The same in a bathroom and the same for outside. So those areas are areas that I would definitely recommend to apply the glaze, just for extra protection. Tjhoko has a built-in sealant, but what the glaze does, it makes it water resistant, more water resistant, UV resistant and more stain resistant. So that you can take a damp cloth, never clean a painted surface, doesn't matter what paint, with sunlight liquid or handy andy. Those soaps and detergents damage paint. Rather use a damp cloth, wipe it clean, and if you want to make sure it is germ free, I always add some extra Dettol drops into my water if I need to clean my kitchen or a painted surface. Okay, then the glaze, you can wear gloves. There's no toxins in here. But what the gloves will do, it will just help to clean your hands easier. Or as you work, just now and then rinse your hands before you continue. Many people do prefer to wear gloves. Absolutely go for it. Personally, I cannot wear gloves, and I promise I come clean. I rinse my hands during use, and in the evening, I've said it so many times, I like to bath, soap and water clean my hands. Nothing else is needed. What we've also realized during COVID is that our sanitizers help to clean our hands if there's glaze on. Okay, I have now rubbed some of my previously painted hands into my glaze. Don't do that. So we've been busy today. We have been painting the items for the Joe Black show that will be aired on VIA from April. More details will be available later. And then we're also busy with the book shoots. We are being creative. We are painting non-stop. So lots of creativity happening in the Tjhoko factory. For glaze applications, there are many questions. Suzuki, for instance, you know my right hand, he applies the glaze with a foam roller, but he's an avid painter. He knows how to use a foam roller, and he does it with closed eyes. If you're a novice, if you're a novice, not amateur, I'm thinking of the dance terms now because Kaylee used to dance. So if you're a novice, a microfiber cloth works best. I'm going to show step by step how to do this. So we have 3 parts glaze, 1 part water in here. Microfiber cloth, they are available at supermarkets, your Spar, your Capay, your Checkers. I'm wetting my microfiber cloth in some water, and it actually absorbs moisture so well. And I just make sure that I remove any excess moisture, so it's damp. The dampness allows the glaze to be easily spread onto the surface. Okay, now if you want to wear your gloves, this is now when you will put it on. And I dip my damp microfiber cloth, no excess water gets out when I squeeze it. I dip this cloth in my glaze mixture, but I make sure that my entire cloth absorbs the glaze. So I press out and dip again. This will also help for even application. So everywhere is glaze. I make sure of that. Okay, and then I squeeze to remove excess, but not too dry. If your cloth is too dry, that's when you will start seeing streakiness, and there are ways of fixing it. I'll show you on the other board. So my cloth is rather wet, more wet than dry. And once again, I fold it like a ball in the palm of my hand so that I know I apply it nicely and evenly. The moment it feels too dry, I'll dip it in my glaze mix again. Circular movements works well. I work in a well-lit space, so I can see exactly that I'm applying my glaze evenly everywhere onto this surface. And in circular movement, and I look in the light to make sure it is done evenly and everywhere. Now what do you do if this now dries and you see, oh, I've missed a spot, or I see streakiness? Okay, you repeat the process. I'm going to do it there. Allow this surface to dry for half an hour and just wipe on, in circular motions, another coat of glaze. And once again, the cloth is more wet than dry. This just allows for the even distribution of the glaze. So I'm wetting it again. A jar of glaze, this size, covers more or less 8 square meters. But it depends on the surface, it depends on your application. So to work between 6 and 8 square meters if you need to estimate how much glaze you are going to need. Now, let me do this first, the second application. Then we are going to chat about sheen levels and how to manipulate sheen levels. You can see this is not a high gloss surface, although it's still drying. I'm going now to add a second coat on this surface. So this surface already received a first coat, and I did not apply at the edge. I don't know if it's visible in the camera at all, but I did it for a reason. So I'm working well lit. I can see exactly where I'm wiping and where I'm missing spots. My cloth is nice and damp. I'm working in circular motions, and this will now be perfect. For outside furniture, I would apply 3 coats, half an hour apart from each other, to make sure that it has proper coverage, proper protection, and that it's completely UV and water resistant. Wood outside is a surface that requires maintenance. It is a fact, something that we will never change. Whether you varnish it, whether you paint it, you need to maintain wooden surfaces. It expands, it shrinks, it is porous. The moment that there's a crack in the wood, due to the fact, even after you've painted it or after you've varnished it, sometimes the wood still expands. It creates cracks. And if you see that crack, maintain immediately. Because where that crack forms, water will seep in and that will cause damage. I'm just going to rinse my hands and wipe with a clean cloth before we continue. Now, if you like the matteness of Tjhoko and you don't necessarily want to add a light sheen level, this is a very subtle sheen finish. It's not high gloss. If you want a more of a gloss finish, you will add more coats, and you can even add less water. You can. If you want to make sure that the sheen level is lower, this is what we're going to do next. And I'm going to make a complete new mix. I'll use this later again. You mix the glaze, equal quantities glaze and equal quantities water. Now let's do it together. I just want to remove this cloth. So here's my tub. Let's use the same one. We are painting so much at the moment, so I can just, there's extra, just as well mix. So 1 part glaze and then 1 part water. This is when you glaze onto darker surfaces, which I'm going to do now, and also if you want to lower the sheen level. Okay, so less of a sheen level. Once again, microfiber cloth. I'm just going to dampen it again. You rinse out your microfiber cloths immediately after each use, and you use them again and again and again. Just make sure that the glaze is removed properly so that it doesn't become sticky. Okay, so there's my water. Squeeze out excess water. Here's my glaze. Here's my Danish day on my flower pot. Tip: when painting flower pots, I did not do it, but always paint a section on the inside as well, and make sure when you apply your glaze that you do it on the edge and also on the inside, just 2 or 3 centimeters on the inside. If water sits on this edge, it can't damage your paint work, because that's where damages will occur, and that's where paint where water gets a hold onto your painted surface. So you want to protect it here, make sure that no paint sits here and cause any damage. Okay, damp cloth, glaze and water, dark color. So I'm going to equal quantities paint, glaze and water. Sorry, it's been a long day of painting. I have just done it on that area because I didn't really mix a lot, but let me show you. And now I wipe it onto my Danish tea. And I can use it on the reddish mellow and my cement. And I'm just covering my entire pot. Let me do what I said. On the edge, work in a well-lit space. See that I cover it everywhere. Wait for it to dry. If I see any unevenness, just another coat. I just want to make sure what you see is neat. Okay, so let's allow that to dry, and then we look and see what it looks like once it has had a chance to dry completely. Let's do the inside. Make sure.
Carla would like to know, she loves the pot. Where do we get the cement pot from?
Builder's Warehouse. Okay, so yeah, Builder's Warehouse. I love pots. I absolutely love pots. I know in Builder's Drift there's a place called Antique Shack that has the most amazing pots. If you live in the Krugersdorp area, go pay a visit there. I just didn't have time to visit them. Okay, so this is going to rest and dry. I'm going to take it out of the way, and then we are going to start with inspiration. I just want to apply this evenly. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, allow it to rest and dry, and then we are going to do a technique. And the technique we are going to do is called whitewash. Now, if you want to do a whitewash technique, you do it on a raw surface, raw cement, raw wood, raw bricks, raw galvanized. I'm going to show you how to do it. When you want to add glaze to your paint when doing a whitewash technique, this is not for normal painting. It's for a whitewash technique when you know the surface will be exposed to elements, and in one easy step, you want a surface that's water resistant, UV resistant, it's raw, okay, so that's important for a whitewash technique, and it's in one easy step, you're protecting the surface and you're applying the technique. You will do it as follows.
Sure, Anne would like to know, can we put on glaze with a paintbrush?
The paintbrush creates streaks because the glaze is so thin. There are no thickness added to it because it's pure. The cloth works the best if you are well equipped and you are comfortable working with a foam roller. Practice first to see that you get it right. Personally, I still apply it with a cloth. Suzuki is the only person that applies it with a foam roller without even watching or looking what he's doing. Okay, so you need to know and before you apply it with anything else. Paintbrush, no. Okay, microfiber cloth works the best. Okay, so with the whitewash technique, we are going to, and now remember with techniques, there are no rules. It's playing, it's experimenting, it's unleashing that freedom, that creative freedom. So I'm going to add equal quantity glaze and paint to my mixture. But the moment I feel, so let's mix first that it makes sense. I'm using cloud white. The moment I feel that my mixture is either too dark, I will add more glaze, or if I feel I don't see enough whiteness, I will add more paint. So this is really something you can play around and play until you are happy with what you've created. Now, a mutton cloth actually works best for this technique, okay, but I did not bring with. So I'm going to use a microfiber cloth, and that's also the fun about applying techniques. So let me just mix this together. You can be clean and creative, absolutely. I am not the clean and creative type. So I have a beautiful, can you see, dusty pink shirt on today. And after only being busy for 10 minutes, Karen came to me and said, "What did you do to yourself?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And I have paint everywhere on myself. We did try to wipe it with a wipe, but it did not work, so I'll have to stencil this shirt. Okay, so here's now paint and glazed mixed together. You can use a paintbrush. I'm just going to use my hands, and what I do is I dirty my cloth with paint. So no glaze into your paint if you're just painting. I'm repeating myself, but this is important. I'm only doing this because I am going to do a technique, a whitewash technique on a raw surface. And this is a galvanized bucket. There's rust on it. I still want to see that rustic look and feel. Okay. My cloth sits like a ball in the palm of my hand. Any edges are folded away, and I wipe onto my surface. So I'm changing the color of the surface. It can be any color, although the technique says whitewash. Another term is lime wash. It just means I'm subtly, in a very subtle way, just changing the color on my surface. Okay. You can, these buckets were cleaned with lacquer thinners before I've applied this technique, very important. So lacquer thinners, key to success when painting onto melamine, onto metal, onto glass, onto a varnished surface older than 6 months. You clean well with lacquer thinners. Let me just make sure the front is beautiful. And then also, if you want to later apply a different color or another coat, you just simply do it. Okay, now this is whitewash by adding paint and glaze together, raw surfaces. I have something similar here with a transfer on it. Sure.
While you are getting that, we have a question about what is the color that was used to whitewash your bricks behind you?
There is actually a video of this on our website as well as our YouTube channel. We did it for the Home magazine. In Afrikaans. It's called Ruk jou kuier kol reg, I think. If I remember correctly, it's Vinya Stone and Cloud White. If I look at it, I also think so, but the video is there. I will just go make 100% sure, but I think if I know myself, I think I've used those two colors. And then when doing that on a brick wall, you can also use a large brush, and not necessarily especially rough brick surfaces. You can use a large brush and brush this onto your surface instead of working with a cloth, and every now and again it feels like you're getting stuck on the roughness of the surface. Okay, this is whitewash. I'm moving it out. Now on this bucket, we have applied one of our beautiful water slide transfers. There are videos available on our YouTube channel. Hello Maestro, he can open the door for himself. There are videos available on our YouTube channel where we show how to do the transfer application. Later we'll show again. Today we're just focusing on the glaze. And I want to show how you glaze after you've done the transfer. So the transfer we did actually yesterday. It really had enough time to dry, and now I'm just going to apply my clear glaze coat on top. So it's a damp cloth.
Susan would like to know, will the Tjhoko book have chapters of all this information, especially step-by-step techniques and inspirational projects? If so, I cannot wait to get my copy.
Yeah, you need to get that copy. We are hectically busy to write that book. Yeah,
will it have all the inspirational step-by-steps in it?
Absolutely, everything, and also things that you have not seen before. Yeah, it is a must-have. I hope that you will be so excited when you see it, as I am excited doing and experiencing this journey. Okay, and now I glaze. We also, in partnership with the Home magazine, Tuis, tydskrif, Tuis, ons almal ken die Tuis, Sy Engelse weergawe is Home magazine, and April, you will see beautiful step by step. We started with that cover today. You better get your Taste and Home magazine. In the April issue, we're also busy with a paint guide showcasing kitchens. There's actually no moment of sitting still in our lives, but we love it that way. Okay, so this is the glaze onto the water slide transfer. And once again, if you feel that later you want to add another coat, you simply do it. But what the glaze does, it just allows, and this will still dry, but it just allows that clear, shiny film. Sorry for the dogs. You're in my house because we don't have proper Wi-Fi reception at the office. If you want to hide that clear, shiny film off the transfer, the glaze does exactly that. So it looks like it's imprinted onto the surface instead of something that was done during a DIY session. Kaylee's going to close the door for us. I hope she hears us. Will you close the door? Okay. This is now a selfie. I've actually never done a selfie. So Crystal is just closing so the dogs. We don't have a camera crew. It's us. It's us. So we are also learning as the process develops. Okay. Next inspirational session. The glaze can also be used as a decoupage medium, and I'm going to show you various things just for inspiration. Let's take this out of the way. I'm going to put it here.
I have a question for you, Vicky.
Okay.
Krista asks, ek wil 'n ou aspek verf met brown glaze. Watter kleur verf gooi ek by om die ou look te kry?
Gaan kyk bietjie na verlede week se video waar ons die antique brown glaze gedoen het. Dan gaan kyk jy hoe min antique glaze was op ons lappie. Ons het daarbey het ons sheriff stone of matte black gegooi, verlede week matte black, maar gaan kyk daai video Krista. Ek sal vir Lief vra dat sy vir jou daai link aanstuur. Sy is besig om vrae te antwoord op die blad. Dat jy mooi gaan kyk en dat alles mooi vir jou sin maak. So jy verf nie die brown glaze op nie, jy doen dit presies soos wat ons nou met die clear glaze gedoen het, op 'n klam lap en mooi egalig. Dis hoe ons hierdie gedoen het verlede week. Goed, en dan kan jy stukkie vir stukkie, kon jy mooi sien Christel, dan kan jy stukkie vir stukkie donkerder maak soos wat jy vorder. Okay, so on these surfaces, here we've used fabric to stick fabric onto a surface. So there's fabric. Yes, I love this one. Here is some recipes, and I'll show you now so that everything makes sense. Recipes, sheets of paper from magazines. Don't do something where Tjhoko did a tutorial. Other magazines you can use, and then also incorporate some stencil work, color. Here we did something with printed sheets, normal typic, what do you call that paper?
We use Mondi.
Mondi paper, whatever, print paper from a normal printer. Images that Crystal gathered from the website. It looks like old recipes. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So, how beautiful, old cake tins, you're never going to throw them away again. Okay, I'm going to use the back of this board so that you can see what I'm doing just for the steps. So I have pieces of paper, and what I do, good kitchen knives, let's do that side. Okay, I dip it in my glaze that I've mixed 3 parts glaze, 1 part water, like we've done right in the beginning of the session. I dip my paper in here, remove it, and your surface can either be painted or not. And I'm just going to be playful. Later, when this is dry, you just use sandpaper once it's dry only, and you just sand the edges off so it's nice and even.
We have a message, and I think you should share something about it. Dag sê alles in Suid-Afrika. Ek wens ons kan julle produkte hier kry in Australië.
Ons is in Australië. Ons versending het aangekom vroeër in verlede week. Melanie, wat ons verspreider in Australië is, het net bietjie gesondheidsprobleme. So ons almal bid hard dat sy vinnig sal sterk word en verbeter, en dan sal julle definitief meer van ons sien in Australië, maar dit het veilig aangekom. Ons container, ek weet nie wat is die mooi Afrikaans, ons container is daar. Hy is pragtig, niks het beskadig nie. So ons hoop net vir Melanie se beterskap, sodat die dinge kan gebeur. So hallo Australië, dis lekker om van julle te hoor. Okay, so I'm just dipping pieces of paper. We're also in Switzerland, and Michelle is with us every single week. She has a beautiful English tea room in Switzerland, in Ollen, but they're also experiencing heavy lockdown regulations at the moment. And I'm being creative and having fun. And this is how you do it. And I'm not going to continue because I think the steps do make sense. Once this is dry, you can decide, do you want to stencil? Lovely for pieces of furniture. If you want to use something like printed sheets on larger pieces of paper, or if you want to use gift paper, you can paint the glaze on, put the gift paper on, paint over again, then you can use a paintbrush, especially if it's larger surfaces, or just put the glaze in a larger container, dip your sheets of paper through it and adhere it to the surface.
Leonie just asked about serviettes. How would you do for serviettes? Same concept?
A serviette on the surface, absolutely the same concept. This is exactly what I've used here. This is a serviette that I've bought from Woolies. So we've just cut it according to the size, dipped it in the glaze. Something that I just noticed with fabrics, some fabrics tend to shrink. So you need to pull it as you apply it onto the surface. But this is a serviette. It's a nice pattern that we've just cut up. I think I actually had it in my house. Okay, so yeah, definitely you can do it. Okay, next, what is our next item? We've done on paper, we've done there. Now something that's going to happen next week. I'm just taking this out of the way. So next week, something that I am not familiar with, this I can use still, this I'm throwing away, is how to transfer images on a surface with glaze. There are still many uses for the glaze. We've just touched on some today, and we will, as we see questions arise, we will focus more on it and make sure we answer everything. So this is done by Tjhoko from Dusty Drawers. She's a dear friend, and she's the person that is so actively busy on the Tjhoko Creations group, making sure that everyone is helped. Trish, I love you to bits. I received this as a gift from Trish, and what she did is she used a printed piece of paper, just normal paper, and she transferred a picture with a glaze onto this surface. Honestly, I have had no time to practice this, and this is the solution. Next week, Trish will show us step by step how to do it, how to transfer a normal printed piece of paper onto a beautiful item and to make personalized gifts. How beautiful is this? I'm sure there's something inside as well. Look there. If there are any more questions, I'm just double checking that I did show everything. If there are any more questions, are there?
So far about glaze. Riette just wants to know wanneer sien ons daai team effort badkamer.
That team effort bathroom, I actually had people over this weekend because it was my husband's birthday. Still had masking tape on the walls. Trish, Sunette, Marina, ek is so jammer, ek stel julle so teleer. But Riette, I'm sure if you live one life in my shoes, you'll understand why. I will get to it. It's not done yet, but I want to make sure it's absolutely beautiful before I share it. I think now it's the book. It is Joe Black's show, and it's everything happening for the home, Toys Magazine, Ideas Magazine, and then we'll jump on the bathroom. I love you all to bits. Stay positive, stay healthy, see possibilities in everything, and stay positive. positive in a good way. I think positivity has got many meanings these days, but stay creative, and I'm looking forward to do the session with Trish next week. Bye.